Hey, sweet people. Dr. Julia coming at you. I'm not going to talk to you today about being a widow. I'm going to talk to you about an experience that I had that brought up a lot of things and issues that I feel like I can use to help others in situations. And it's about your time as a volunteer. And so if you are a widow and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to find a place to volunteer and spend some of my time, I'm going to share this with you. This is about the VFW Auxillary, which is a wonderful, wonderful organization. It is an organization that assists veterans and their families and provides community resources and education in the community. In North Carolina, we had Hurricane Helene, and I'm going to tell you, our auxiliary, as well as the post that I was connected with, did some major, major work in getting homes. One of the auxiliary ladies, I'm not going to call her name, she knows who she is, worked with the Cajun Navy and delivered campers to folks in North Carolina. And bringing that up, please remember them. It's not over, people. It's not rebuilt. It's not going to be for a long time. People are still without homes and basic needs. So I'm just going to let that sit right there. But I'm going to tell you a story, and it's going to be in several parts because it is quite an eye-opener. And it was for me, and this is a mistake that I will not make again, I can assure you. So let me tell you how it started. I live part-time at the coast and part-time at the other Carolinas, not far from the mountains, and from Newton, North Carolina. Have you heard of that? Like Fig Newton, North Carolina? 60 miles above Charlotte, and a hop, skip, and a jump from Boone, North Carolina. That tells you that. So I and some other close friends, and I don't know how it is in your area, but we're all into karaoke and karaoke clubs and singing, and we just have a good time doing it. So I actually found the VFW 5305 post in Newton through karaoke by following a wonderful DJ that we like, David, who is so incredibly talented. It's not so much that we care about singing, we just want to go every time the round's done so we can hear him sing. He's just so great and so talented. So we went out there, me and my friend, a couple of times and enjoyed it. And the ladies out there were very, very kind to us and welcomed us, with karaoke. And so then I started asking questions of, about the post and getting information, because I'm from a military family. My father, Korean vet, bombardier, with medals. My brother, my nephews, Marines and Navy. All of my uncles, Air Force and Army. Some of my Desert Storm folks, Vietnam folks. My sister was born in the Virgin Islands, if that tells you anything. And my mother and her were based in Oklahoma for a long time. I went to a military college for well over 8 years. So don't be telling me that. Don't leave a comment about, well, you don't know what it's like being I'm not talking about being a veteran. I'm talking about my experience, not yours, my experience that I had with the auxiliary. And so I got information and found out that I was eligible to be an auxiliary member. To be members of the VFW, Veteran of Foreign Wars, you had to serve overseas, active duty. And so I am a member because of my family, especially. So we're veterans, families helping veterans and their families, and they do a great job. A great job. I cannot say enough about that. So while I was there, I was not a stagnant member. I created a Facebook page for the auxiliary. They didn't have one, any way of getting messages back and forth other than a little calendar on the board when you went out there. So I did that, and we were able to, you know, post notices, thank people, sick call, roll call, you know, what you do with really cool things like that, support each other, and it was a wonderful way to communicate with each other. But, you know, I was involved with the Halloween festival, trunk or treat, doing things that we could for the kids, Thanksgivings. We wanted to have enough money to, you know, feed a lot of the folks with Helene, getting Christmas together for children in the community, and in Helene, and victims of Helene needing their things, wrapping their Christmas gifts, just different things like that. And a yard sale. We have 2 great yard sales every year that one of my co-members and another co-member came up with the idea. This is hard physical work, but it got done and raised thousands of dollars. It's just a wonderful project. So anyway, let me tell you, I go to my first meeting and was interested in everything. People were nice and welcoming. Very first meeting, I became a trustee, an officer, and was very proud to do that, and did it 3 years. I was coming up on 4, but I did resign about 2.5 weeks ago. Officially resigned just from all of it. It's not something that I can continue to do. So the first meeting went well. The second meeting, okay, is what they call a joint meeting, where the members of the post and the members of the auxiliary meet together. And that's what we did, and the room was full, you know. I was real excited. So this fella comes up because the commander couldn't be there, and that's what he said. I'm here because, you know, we're not going to call the commander by name. Let's just call him, I don't know, K-Bird. So K-Bird wasn't there, and so this fella, we'll just call him number 2. So number 2 came, and he said, I'm here to just tell you what has been passed down to me to pass on to y'all. So the first thing he started talking about was, look, y'all, we've got to control the smoking that goes on here on the property. We're not talking cigarettes and vapes, people. We're talking, what do you want to call it? Ganja, Mary Jane, reefer, tree, pot's what we're talking. And so, you know, while I was, every time I've been there, it's been pretty rampant. Right outside the door, around back, over at the side. People, you know, come in through the door, and the smell just hits you right up in the face. And that's not my problem. This person was out there telling everybody it has got to stop. It is way out of control. If you need to do it, go in the back, out towards the woods, but keep it out from around here and the front, because, you know, you can lose a liquor license, they were saying. So we really need to put a handle on it. Some people got very angry and left the meeting. Okay, further on down the meeting, he started to tell us again, this is what is passed on from, you know, K-Bird or whatever, and women out here are not going to be disrespected in any way whatsoever. It will not be tolerated. If one of the ladies at the bar tells you to do something, you are to do it. There's to be no arguments. Nobody is talking ugly to any of the women. We're not having it anymore. It's been going on too long, and it absolutely has to stop today, as per Commander-in-Chief. Okay, so this is my first kind of meeting. So let me point out to you, whatever else was said in the meeting, I'm sitting here thinking, all right, we've got to control this smoking use, and now ladies are being abused. The speech about the abuse to the ladies went on and was so serious that this was on a Thursday. So on Friday, when we came for karaoke, I brought flowers to the ladies at the bar to just say, I don't know what's been going on. I hope you're safe. I want you to know that you're appreciated. So, you know, I did that. And I did that from time to time, and tried to give them gift bags at holidays, and just remember and then tell them nice things, that you are appreciated, you know. So then I asked around, more questions. Like, okay, well, can y'all tell me who's getting abused or what's happening, who's doing it to who? Nobody would really tell me, but it was important enough for it to come up at a meeting, but nobody would ever answer my question. So then the next month when we had, that meeting went on so long that we did not really have our auxiliary meeting because it lasted so long that time. So then the next month we have our auxiliary meeting, and before we closed, I said I need to ask the question. Please tell me what all of this was the last time we were here, because we spent over an hour listening to, you know, the drug use and the disrespect of the ladies, the verbal abuse to the ladies, and so on. Can somebody please just tell me, am I safe out here? Am I safe? Somebody needs to give me a, am I safe? Do I have to be escorted out here? No, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. The guy that was doing that didn't have any idea what he was talking about, on and on and on. Well, okay, no, that's not true. He had a piece of paper. He went down the list of what he needed to do for the meeting, and all of a sudden now it's like, nobody wanted to tell me what was happening. But I continued to ask, am I safe out here? And people would say, yeah, you should be okay. Well, no, what I wanted to know is, do I need to bring somebody out here with me? I truly did not know. We are in a bar. VFW likes to call it a canteen. It's a bar. They have a liquor license. It's a bar, okay? With bars comes the ABC, Alcohol and Beverage Control, and the ALE. You know, I have family businesses that have owned bars in a college town. I know what they're talking about. You know, you have serious limitations on what you can and can't do, and rules and regulations that you have to follow, and if you don't, they will snatch your license off the wall. Okay, so anyway, that kind of goes on and on. All right, a few weeks later, I was out there and I was still concerned about it. It just played on me. Was I safe out here? What was going on? You know, what kind of drugs are we talking about? Or somebody gonna come in and mow us down in a minute, or what's going on? So I took two of my sisters aside that night. We went into a separate room, and I said, I just want to talk to y'all and kind of go over again what I was told when I initially got here in that big meeting, and I want to just make sure that I'm okay and that I'm safe out here, and you know, what's the deal? Both of these sweet ladies, who I still genuinely love right now, and they are very hard workers in the organization, said, no, Julia, you're fine, everything's, you know, gonna be okay, and put it aside and let's go on. So these are my sisters, sisterhoods, and both were officers as well. So yeah, you say it, I mean it. That's fine. So we come out of the meeting, and they kind of went through one way and I went to another, so I got to the bar, and a fella from the VFW post, not the auxiliary, the VFW post, was kind of waving at me from his table and moving his mouth and asking questions, which I couldn't hear. So he came up to the bar, not the canteen table. He came up to the bar where I was standing and said, so what was going on back there? Y'all were having some kind of powwow? You're having a meeting? What's going on? Why would you have a meeting out there? Well, I just looked at him because, what? And then beside me, over standing up against the wall, was an older gentleman. Appeared to be quite happy, holding the wall up a little bit, and was asking me, what are y'all talking about back there? Why do y'all have to go back there and talk? I don't, and he's the VFW veteran too. What are you doing back there? Well, I looked at him and I said, I'm here to have fun and enjoy my Friday night. I'm not here to talk about what I talk about, and you know, as far as anybody's concerned, I'm talking to my sisters, and that's the end of that. So I talked to the other officers later, and I said, is that what happens out here? Or are we supposed to report if we have a conversation? No, absolutely not. So, you know, it went on for a few weeks. We just let it go. And then the next meeting came around, and I let our president know that we had been confronted. I had been confronted personally by 2 members, being pretty forceful, wanting to know what our business, mine and the other lady's business was in the other room, which is not their business at all. And, you know, it needed to be handled. Well, after this kind of came up, that this person had also been not so nice with other women in the auxiliary, and we had more issues like that. So more and more reports kind of came in and were reported to our president. And I don't know what he can do or what he cannot do. I have enormous respect for the president of that auxiliary. I just don't think that he may take some things as serious as we do. I can't say he don't. That's my perception. That's my perception. Because it took months and months for him to do anything, and there would be times where we would be in the bar, you know, at karaoke times, or one time me and my preacher fellow was sitting there after Halloween, and because I would not speak to him anymore, I just didn't talk to him, I didn't have a need to, and he was making comments to other people about, yeah, how I had reported him, and, you know, like if we didn't want to talk to him, and he could handle it. He didn't have a problem doing whatever he needed to do to take care of him. No. So we just got up and left. Okay. So you just kind of take note of that. And the other ladies also took note of things that happened to them while they were there. Now, to make that long story short, okay, eventually, the VFW, because handled it, and finally removed him, I think from membership, and that was after a confrontation one night, and then money is missing. Go figure. Money missing, different kind of things like that. So that's when the confrontation got heated enough to where he left, and then they eventually, I guess, followed up with some kind of secret vote, whatever it is you do. I don't know, and I don't care. So there's that one. And then in my next video, I'm going to tell you about more incidents there, and how women are treated or not treated in the auxiliary post that I was a member of. Again, I'm going to stress to you that the VFW Auxiliary is a wonderful organization. They do wonderful things. I'm sure they will continue to do so. And I'm going to hope and pray that the VFW post that I became an auxiliary member of is an exception. I'm going to hope and pray and have faith that it is an exception, and that the others operate very well, although in some of the things that I have seen that VFW auxiliary members pass out through different ways of sharing information, some of the things that they do talk about is improving communications between the auxiliary and the VFW post. So let's get real. If you have to put out information on how to have better communication, there's a problem. There is a problem. So that's, you know, I had a lot of red flags. Now, first of all, let me tell you something. I do not blame the auxiliary that I joined or the VFW 5305 post that I joined. That I don't blame any of them that I had a bad experience. I blame me. Because I didn't do my homework, and I didn't check out the full overall health of the organization in Newton, North Carolina. If I had, it would have been different. I had already had negative experiences before with a military situation and an acquaintance and lots of acquaintances, even more from Tampa, Florida, down near the MacDill Air Base. So I walked away then and said, never again. These, no more, no. But I did. I didn't put it together. You know, I just thought maybe this will be a different situation. No. This is all on me. I didn't do my homework. I did not do my homework. And even though my perception was and still is that where I was, it was, in my perception, me personally, the abuse, verbal abuse, intimidation, and the non-interest or failure to act in a timely manner to handle complaints when they come in. Maybe that's a systemic issue of the overall policies and procedures, apparently non-existent policies and procedures, or that they just don't get handled, because I know that some of the women reported things to state, which this is what they verbalized to me. So this is not slander and libel like the fella down there thinks. But anyway, this is my experience. I can tell of it. I can say anything I want to about it. I just think, you know, and they would say, well, he's working on it, they're working on it. Yeah, they're going to take it up with him. They're going to take it up with him. And then come to find out that, nah, they might have took it up with him, but it was, you know, I think my perception of what happened is if we let it go on long enough, maybe these little women will shut up and we can tend to other things. That was my perception. That's my perception. I have a right to it. It's also my opinion, and I have a right to it. What I'm telling you now is my experience at the 5305 Auxillary in Newton, North Carolina was not good for me. I hope that it is good for others, and it may very well be. And I certainly do hope, because there's a lot of wonderful people in that organization, men and women, and they have a lot of energy, and you know, it is what it is. So if you'll stay tuned for part 2, I'm going to tell you more and more of how I regret the time that I spent, and I would not do it again. It's not a learning experience I need. I've been through enough learning experiences in my life. So again, like I said, I'm kicking myself. Unfortunately, not as a therapist, but giving too much credit to a veteran environment. You always think that because it's got to do with the veterans, that it's going to be all kosher and really cool, because that is the impression, and that is the perception that they want to have to others, which there's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's true. But my situation is different. So I want you to stay tuned for part 2. Part 2 will be talking about how this progresses and progresses. Like I said, this was going on a 3rd year, or finishing up a 3rd year, and I endured it the entire 3 years. The entire 3 years, there was too much. But the final part of this is going to be quite interesting to you. There will be a video that I show you, and you will be, I think, you should be very moved by the way women were treated in the video, the aggression and the violence, and how they really wanted this swept under the rug, and I became the whistleblower. I blew the whistle because they wouldn't. So I shared the video, and that made them all so upset. But you know, you do your job. If you had done your job a long time back and handled these situations in a timely manner and with true repercussions, instead of you keep letting these people come back. Like you can get barred for 30 days, they come back. Get barred for 30 days, they come back. Get barred from a bar for 30 days, you come back to the bar. Okay, y'all got this therapeutically where we're going. It's not healthy, it's just not a healthy thing. So stay tuned for part 2. Part 3 is going to blow you out of the water. But again, I'm telling you my experience as an auxiliary VFW person at the 5305 in Newton. I have a right to tell you it's the truth, and the national organization is wonderful. Their philosophy is wonderful. Their goals are wonderful. Their commitment is wonderful. My situation did not turn out that way, and it won't happen again. So stay tuned, and don't forget to look up Bigfoot Betty on TikTok. That's always fun. And we'll have some more videos. Gonna bring one too about are you a widow and is it time to date again? Much love to you all. Till tomorrow. Enjoy it. Be kind.